Horror isn't just for movies or haunted castles. Sometimes the most terrifying stories are real, and they happen in the places we know best. Our homes, schools, and workplaces all have histories. Sometimes those histories leave behind something dark. We move through life, separated from another world by only a thin veil. But what happens when that veil tears? Spirits, ghosts, and entities, echoes of past events, are said to linger all around us. Most of the time we ignore the chills or the feeling of being watched. We call it imagination, but sometimes it's not. These moments force us to confront a reality far scarier than we ever imagined. This is the world of the paranormal. The most chilling evidence often comes from the most ordinary places, like a college dormitory. Dorms are places of new beginnings, but they're also buildings with a past. The energy of everyone who's ever lived there lingers. When that history is dark, it can turn a place of learning into a place of fear. This is the true story of one such place, a single room in a college dorm that became so terrifying it had to be sealed off. This isn't a legend, it's a documented haunting that drove students away and baffled investigators. It's the story of a place where the veil between worlds was ripped open, a presence that refused to leave. This is the story of Room 428. Ohio University, nestled in the hills of Athens, Ohio, is one of America's oldest universities. Its campus is beautiful and peaceful, at least on the surface. But beneath that calm, a dark secret has grown for decades. The university is considered one of the most haunted places in the country. Ghost stories are whispered everywhere: libraries, classrooms, dorms. Some say the entire town is a center of paranormal energy, with haunted cemeteries and an old asylum. But the most feared location is on campus, Wilson Hall. Built in the 1960s, Wilson Hall looks like any other dorm, but it sits at the center of a pentagram formed by 5 ancient cemeteries. Some believe this creates a spiritual vortex, a doorway for energies from other dimensions. Whether or not that's true, something is wrong inside Wilson Hall. The focus of this energy is Room 428. For years, students assigned to this room have reported terrifying, unexplainable events. The stories are all similar: a malevolent presence that doesn't want them there. The university tried to keep things quiet, but the experiences were too numerous and frightening to ignore. Room 428 became known as the most haunted room on campus, a place where the living are not welcome. The stories from Room 428 started as whispers, small, strange things. Students heard unexplained noises, soft whispers, scratching from the walls, doors opening and closing on their own. Objects moved by themselves, keys vanished only to reappear in odd places. At first, students blamed the wind or pranks, but the activity only got worse. Noises grew louder, banging on the door in the middle of the night. No one there when they checked. The feeling of being watched became constant. Then, things turned personal. Students saw shadowy figures out of the corner of their eye. Some saw the full apparition of a woman, her face twisted in a silent scream, standing in the corner. The haunting escalated. One student woke up paralyzed, feeling a cold presence pressing on his chest. Blankets were ripped off sleeping students, mirrors shattered for no reason. The terror was no longer ignorable. It was real, aggressive, and focused on them. Living in Room 428 became unbearable. Fear and sleeplessness took a toll. Students' grades and health suffered. The room was no longer a home, it was a place of torment. One by one, every student assigned to the room made the same decision. They left. Moving out mid-semester is difficult and expensive, but for these students, it was about survival. They pleaded with housing officials, describing voices, moving objects, and terrifying apparitions. The university was skeptical at first, but the sheer number of requests and the terror in students' voices made it clear something was wrong. No one lasted a full semester in Room 428. The room always ended up empty before the year was over. The legend grew with each student who fled, becoming part of campus folklore. For those who lived it, it wasn't folklore, it was trauma. As the legend grew, paranormal investigators took notice. They came to Wilson Hall with cameras, audio recorders, and EMF meters, hoping to capture evidence. Night vision cameras recorded moving objects and shadow figures. Audio recorders picked up faint whispered voices, EVPs, answering questions with chilling phrases like "get out." EMF meters spiked in the corner where the apparition was often seen, with no natural explanation. Investigators dug into the building's history, searching for the source of the haunting. What they found was a dark, tragic past directly connected to room 428. The evidence was clear: the haunting was real, intelligent, and tied to a specific event. The investigation uncovered two dark stories. First, the land beneath Wilson Hall was once a sacred Native American burial ground. Many believe building on such ground disturbs the dead, creating restless spirits. Second, in the 1960s, a young woman, deeply involved in the occult, lived in room 428. She attempted a ritual of astral projection, trying to leave her body and travel to other planes. Something went horribly wrong. She died mysteriously in that room. Rumors say her ritual opened a door she couldn't close, trapping her spirit or something darker inside. The apparition seen by students could be her, angry and tormented, forever tied to the place of her death. The combination of a disturbed burial ground and a violent, tragic death created the perfect storm for a powerful haunting. After years of terror and failed attempts to resolve the haunting, the university took drastic action. Room 428 was permanently sealed, locked, removed from housing, and closed to the public. The door has no handle. It stands as a silent monument to the terror within. The university claims it's closed for maintenance, but everyone knows the truth. The act of sealing the room didn't solve the problem, it only hid it. The energy remains, waiting behind the door. The legend only grew stronger. Sealing room 428 didn't stop the haunting. The energy began to spread. Students in neighboring rooms reported strange noises, banging and whispers from behind the locked door. Some heard furniture moving inside the empty room. The activity was most intense late at night, creating dread throughout the fourth floor. Students saw the same shadowy figure in their own doorways. The spirit was no longer confined. It wandered the hallway, its energy bleeding through the walls. Sealing the room may have made things worse, like putting a lid on a boiling pot. The fourth floor remains a paranormal hotspot, where students live with the knowledge that a powerful, unhappy spirit is their neighbor. The story of room 428 is a chilling reminder that the world we see isn't the only one that exists. Behind a sealed door, a powerful energy still waits. The silence is heavy, a silence that screams with the memory of terror. Is the presence the tormented spirit of a student or something more ancient and malevolent? New students hear the whispers, some brave enough to seek a sign from behind the door. The story is now part of the university's identity, a warning about meddling with forces we don't understand. So if you ever feel a sudden chill or hear a sound you can't explain, remember room 428. Some doors are closed for a reason, and behind some doors, something is waiting. Listen to the silence.